He
Christian child.
yeah, so the people they lied and told us that we about our history, and they kept it hid. And the Egyptian, the real African people, and the African American is two different race of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They tried to hide it from us.
the Africans sold our people to the white man.
Hush your mouth. Hey boy, you know that.
Yeah, they sold our people to the white man.
Well, hush your mouth.
Because the Africans, they call them Hamites. They had the Israelites in slavery at one time. And God allowed them is to take us in captivity in 70 A.D. because Israel did not keep the commandments of God. So God allowed Israel to get thrown out their land. That was a curse that came upon us because we didn't keep the commandments. And so he said if we didn't listen to him, he would put curses upon us. And that's why we scattered throughout all four corners of the earth and stuff like that. We scattered throughout every four corners of the earth and stuff like that. All of that's a curse because we didn't keep the commandments. If we come back and keep his commandments, all 613 commandments, he would take the curses off and we would go back to our homeland. But because we didn't do that, we had to serve our enemy, the white man. We had to serve our enemy, Esau.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Boy, you knew that, but God wanted to build that Bible to you like that.
Yeah.
God to do it.
Yep.
Ain't nobody but the Lord to build that Bible to you like that.
They keep a lot of stuff hid from us, and they don't tell us what they should be telling us. There was something in here. I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna read it. How this thing come about? How they wanting people to pay money to the church and all that kind of stuff, and how all that stuff was set up by.
Well, who told her about paying tithe?
The so-called white man.
That's what I figured. Well, look, God didn't tell us the tithe, did he?
No, he did not do that. Let's see here. Let's look at this here. It says the darkness. Okay, this is the Great Controversy, page 38. Look what it said. The darkness seems to grow more dense. Image worship became more general. Candles were burned before images, and prayers were offered to them. The most absorbed and superstitious customs prevailed. The minds of men were completely controlled by the superstitious. That reason itself seems to have lost its sway, while priests and bishops were themselves pleasure-loving, sexual, and corruption. It could only be expected that the people who looked to them for guidance would be sinking in ignorance and vice. Now over here it says, notwithstanding that vice prevailed even amongst the leaders of the Roman Church, her influence seemed steadily to increase. About the close of the 18th century, papers put forth the claim that in the first age of the church, the Bishop of Rome had possessed the same spiritual power which they now assume. To establish the claims, some means must be employed to give a show of authorities, and that was readily suggested by the father of lies. Ancient writers were forgotten monks' decrees of council before unheard of were discovered, establishing the universal supremacy of the Pope from the earliest times, and the church had rejected the truth, gradually accepted the deceptions. Deception means lies. That's when these converts converted to Christianity and came in and started lying and took over and put all of us under witchcraft of Catholic Roman Catholicism. And that's why a lot of our people was converted. They forsake the truth and started converting to false Christianity and all that kind of stuff. It was one part in here that I was going to show you.
Give that alcohol. I'm going to rub them on my own.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to rub them on my own.
Where is it?
Yeah, that's.
I don't even know where it is. I know I had it in my hand.
You get my thing.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me stop this a minute.
Okay.
Now this is what they've been doing right here. This is what those converts, the white men have done. Look what it says. It says still another fabrication was needed to enable Rome to profit by the fears and devices of her adherents. This was supplied by the doctrine of the indulgence for full remission of sins, past, present, and future, and the release from all the pains and the penalties in occurring, while promising to all who would enlist in the pontifex was to extend to his temporal dominion, to punish his enemies, or to exterminate those who dare deny his spiritual supremacy. The people were also taught, this is it, and the people were also taught that by the payment of money to the church, they might free themselves from sin and also release the souls of their deceased friends who were confined in the tormenting flame. By such mass did Rome fill her coffers, that means with lies, and sustain the magnificent luxury and vice of the pretending representation of him who had not where to lay his head. The scriptural ordinance of the Lord's Supper had been supplanted by the adulterous sacrifices of the masses. The adulterous sacrifice of the masses that they practice all that pedophilia in the Catholic Church and homosexuality. So that's what I wanted to read, because they was making the people believe that when that by paying large sums of money to the church, that would free themselves from sin and all of that. But you don't have to go and do all that type of stuff. You go straight to God. But see, the Christian church and the so-called white man, Esau, and lied to our people and told them that the only way to be free from sin, you got to pay tithe, and you got to do this here and stuff like that. And that ain't what the Bible teaches.
Yeah, you know.
So that I was just giving an eye opening.
You know what's going on.
Yeah, I was and then they got one called Defending the Faith in the Mountain. I guess I just let's see, I'm just reading. Yet the light hidden for a time. It says, yet the light hidden for a time continued to burn in Scotland a century later, in showing out a brightness that extended to far distinct lands, far from Ireland and from the pious Columbia and his co-laborers who gathered about them, and the scattering believers on the lonely islands of Iran, made this the center of the missionary leaders, and amongst the evangelists was an observer of the Bible Sabbath. And thus the truth was introduced amongst the people. A school was established in Ireland, from which the missionaries went out, and not only to Scotland and England, but to Germany and Switzerland and even Italy. See, the truth spread it, because our people, they're doing the slave trade. They scattered our people all over the world. They put them in that. This is going into the slave trade. So this is something that they're not gonna tell you. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna end it right here. Let me see what the name of what I was reading. Defending the Faith in the Mountains, opening the eyes of my people to the truth. Defending the Faith in the Mountain, opening my people's eyes up to the truth. All right, I'm out.
Boy, you know all that, don't you?